So Maga have made some decisions. They voted for the best criminal, the guy threatening fascism, the guy that used open racism and misogyny and anti-immigration Hitler speak to fuel his presidential run while, filleting a microphone and doing all kinds of shit, screaming they're eating the dogs when that never happened, etc., etc. But yet these white people chose him. These white women, and she's not like a redneck. She's there in, a nice looking kitchen. She's a white suburban woman. You can hear she's got some kids in the background. But she made that choice. And what's interesting about it is we're about to see her like really sad about this because her grandma and her mom and the other women in her family have basically let her know that they don't want to have much to do with her anymore because of that choice. Now, what's ironic about it is that she is there just like, I stood up for what I believe in, and I'm so sad, and I can't believe how they're treating me, right? She's all broken up, but here's the irony, is she voted for a guy who is going to go and devastate the lives of millions of people, and they don't get a choice. They're people that, some of whom have lived here for 40 years working as undocumented, had kids here, and he might get rid of their kids too. Hardworking people that want to be citizens, that want to be part of this country. And her choices are going to devastate millions of lives. And those people will get sent back to a country they haven't seen in 20 years and left to what? Fend for themselves in a place that's not even their home. They're going to be ripped from their homes and sent to a country that's foreign to them, as much so as if she got sent to Ecuador or what have you. And she, having made a decision to enable the ripping of those families and the complete devastation of millions of lives, with no thought whatsoever about the millions of lives that are affected by her decision, now she has the unmitigated gall to act like her grandma saying you f***ed up is so heartrending that she just can't even deal with it.
This is my last political post, okay? I'm gonna lay it to rest. Let me just tell you guys, I'm not crying happy tears. I'm not gonna be apologetic for being excited because
she doesn't look excited.
If it was the other way around, all of the Kamala supporters would celebrate. I want to say that first. I'm very relieved because I voted what I believe in, and I felt heavy on my heart that it's the right thing. So knowing that it was the decision the American people made.
Now, again, I want to pause right there because it was heavy on her heart that she made the right decision. But I wonder, has she considered all the pain and harm and chaos and devastation to millions of other people she shares space with here in America? Has she considered any of the harm that is going to happen to them? Because there is going to be direct harm. Transgender people are going to be directly harmed. Immigrants and Hispanic people who aren't even immigrants are going to be directly harmed.
Because I voted what I believe in, and I felt heavy on my heart that it's the right thing. So knowing that it was the decision the American people made, I'm relieved and I'm very happy. Very, very happy, okay? It's the very first day of finding out the election results. All of us are happy. I'm very happy, but I'm not going to continue to post about it, but I'm also not going to be sorry about it. And,
she doesn't seem happy.
I always talked about how my family, sorry, I don't want to make this more than once. I always talked about how my family had different beliefs, my grandma and my mom and my sister.
You know, it's weird. Her grandma, her mom, and her sister. So all the women in her family don't like this rapey guy. I mean, go figure. That's a shock. But I think it's really interesting, though. It's like, why couldn't she summon this level of compassion and tears and like revelation of the depth of the pain? Why couldn't she drum up this kind of emotional energy for the immigrants that just want to be citizens, or for transgender people that want to be able to go to the bathroom without getting beaten up or killed, or they want to be able to get their hormones so they don't off themselves. They want some understanding of who they are and what they experience. I find it really interesting that the emotional range is like when she's talking about how her sisters and the other women in her family disagree with her, she's so tearful. But when, you know, 1 million people's parents getting ripped out of their lives and sent to a country they haven't lived in 20 years, then she all of a sudden, she's like, no, we got to get rid of them because they're fucking up the country. But all right.
I always talked about how my family had different beliefs, my grandma and my mom and my sister, and how we always got along. And I wore my grandma's sweater to go vote, and I'm so sorry. I'm trying not to cry, okay? But my heart's broken.
Dude.
Try not to cry.
I have no sympathy for this woman, right?
My grandma just sent me a very sad text. It broke my heart.
Join the club.
And my mom has yet to text me back today.
Am I real?
My point of making this video is to say that I am very happy, and I expressed how happy I was. And I'm not going to be sorry for that. I'm completely heartbroken that my family is taking it how they are.
Is she heartbroken for the several million families in America, immigrant families, and the millions of trans people that are about to be just devastated? Just fucking devastated, you know?
I never did this to them when Biden won.
Again, she said she never did this to them when Biden won, but let's unpack that. So when Biden won, was there a large-scale group? Did anybody get deported when Biden won? Did anybody's families get ripped apart when Biden won? Right? Like, did Christians get all their churches closed when Biden won? No. Did Christianity get outlawed? Did Biden make some law that said if you're a Christian, you can only be a Catholic or a Protestant, and all other denominations of Christianity, all the other shades and spectrum of Christianity are canceled? Like, what exactly did he do? Okay, I remember when Easter happened to land on Transgender Visibility Day. Nobody designed it. This coming year, Easter's going to be on Hitler's birthday. Nobody designed it. Easter moves. Hitler's birthday doesn't. Easter moves. Transgender Day of Visibility doesn't. All Biden did was he proclaimed Transgender Visibility Day, which they proclaim all those special holidays, and everyone got so mad at him. Like they were wounded that Easter landed on the same day as Transgender Visibility Day. But it didn't stop Easter. Their right to Easter was not taken away. And that's the difference. Easter didn't get taken away when it landed on Trans Day. We celebrated both, right? But they got mad that the transgender people celebrated on the same day as Easter. And so Joe Biden didn't take anything away.
And I'm not going to be sorry for that. I expressed how happy.
She expressed how happy she is, and she's not going to be sorry for helping to eradicate transgender people and for ruining the lives of millions of immigrant people. Okay? She's not going to be sorry, she says.
This video is to say that I am very happy, and I expressed how happy I was. And I'm not going to be sorry for that. I'm completely heartbroken that my family is taking it how they are. I never did this to them when Biden won. Never. But
again, we will reiterate that when Biden won, there weren't huge swaths of people that were worried about being eradicated from the country. Okay? When Biden won, the worst thing that was going to happen was they were going to say it's okay to change your pronouns, that they were going to let transgender people use the bathroom of the sex they appear to be and not ask any questions. Just let them go pee and let them exist. That's what happened when Biden won. When Biden won, nobody was getting shipped out of the country. Christians weren't losing their churches. They weren't being forced into denominations they didn't want. Why is she crying? She's crying because the minute she suffers any consequences, The whole world needs to see how badly she's oppressed and how badly she's been wounded when she suffers natural consequences. When she suffers natural consequences of her actions, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. But forget the millions of people affected by my choices. All we know is her grandma sent her a message. Her grandma and her mom and her sister are all non-Trumpies. And she knows this. Trump won. And she sent them a message. Oh, I'm so happy Trump won. And then her grandma sent her a message, very disappointed, kind of like, I can't believe you did that. And her mom didn't respond to her. So she's getting frozen out a tiny bit after she celebrated the harm to transgender people. She didn't celebrate it by saying them, but she said them by voting the way she did. But she's had a minimum of consequences.
I am done with political posts. From here on out, it's back to normal. If you don't like me because of who I voted for and you have to unfollow,
yeah,
go ahead.
Later,
my own family unsubscribed from my life, so you can too. I promise. It doesn't get worse than that.
Well, deportations suck. So maybe you should have thought about the consequences of deportation before you voted for a guy who is screaming about deportations. But again, she is using that to be the victim. And this is what we have with Trumpism. Trumpism is essentially, you ready? I'm going to boil down Trumpism for you guys. I am going to boil down Trumpism into a singular concept. You know what Trumpism is? Trumpism is when people who have all the power sit there and claim that they're the ones who are oppressed. That's what Trumpism is. You have somebody like Donald Trump who has more power than 99.9% of men in America, and all he does is stand there and tell you how badly he's being abused. The news coverage is so bad, and everybody's upset at him about this, and he didn't get that, and he didn't get that, and he didn't get that, and he's so filled with grievance. How dare they try to fix climate change? Like, it doesn't affect me in my penthouse. That's what it is. They are in a position of having the power and suffering none of the consequences for their actions. So she is one of the 53% of the white women who voted for Donald Trump for whatever reason, because she believes immigrants are holding her back. But if we look at her. Let's just look at this woman, okay? Look at her nails, guys. Her nails are professionally done and perfect. She's wearing a brand new essential sweatshirt. She's got a wedding band on with plenty of fucking diamonds in it. Look at her kitchen. Bro, she's got a nice mixing bowl back here. She's got a lovely, either she bought a nice house or they redid her kitchen. The immigrants that are working out in the fields, picking the fruit that she puts in her fancy mixing bowl, that are doing the boning of the chickens in the meat processing plant where she no doubt has some nice barbecue, probably one of those smokers out in the back that probably has a nice deck. And the immigrants that are laboring to debone that chicken and, making up the food that she cooks in this really nice house are not the ones causing her pain. They're working hard so she can eat meals that are a little bit more expensive post-pandemic and because of the corporate greed we're constantly under. But those immigrants are taking good care of her, working those jobs. Certainly her children aren't going to go get the fruit picking jobs. They're not going to go work in the meat packing plants, deboning chickens. But look at her. She's, got this glossy skin. She gets facials. She's got perfectly done eyebrows, perfectly manicured nails. She's doing great. She has enough money to get perfect nails and a lovely facial and perfect eyebrows and the mixing bowl and the perfect top of the line, lovely brand new kitchen. She's doing amazing. And yet she wants the immigrants to be deported. Now, why are the people who are doing amazing, why do they want the people that are just struggling, scrapping to be part of this great nation, and they're doing really important jobs to keep us fed and alive and healthy and happy? And instead of her being thankful for those people, She voted with a bunch of people that wants to devastate those people. Yeah, she is doing amazing in the bad Biden economy. Here we are. The economy is so bad, guys, but goddamn, she has a perfect manicure. That's crazy. Look at the manicures. Look at the perfect manicure and the facial and the beautiful eyebrows in this bad Biden economy. She can't afford bacon, but she can afford like all the gender affirming care. This is where it really gets crazy, right? Because we're talking about trans people, but this woman here, she can't afford bacon. Gas and eggs and milk are too expensive, but goddamn, she can afford a lot of gender affirming care. Like, wow, that's a lot of gender affirming care there with the nails and the eyebrows and the skin peels and the cucumber mask facial. I mean, this is what we're talking about, guys. Gender affirming care for her. No gender affirming care for anybody who's not like her. Economy's really good for her, but man, it's so bad that we got to go ahead and deport everybody who's trying to help take care of me in this economy. Here's her sweatshirt, dude. Essentials, gray sweatshirt. And now what's interesting about Essentials though, guys, this is a Christian brand that she's wearing. And make no mistake about it, if you look at it, there it is right there. This is the Christian thing of America now. American Christians, they get the gender affirming care. They get the nice houses. They get the fancy manicures and the multiple diamond rings and shit and the nice mixing bowl and the perfect kitchen. And then what they want to do is she's not going to ask that her church be taxed. She's going to ask that the people who pick her food get deported. And yeah, that says a lot. Let's just look at her TikTok page real quick. Look at her. She's got the fancy gender affirming care with this really nice stuff, lovely furniture and shit. She is living a life of luxury, boss. Look at that. She's got a home gym. Look at that kitchen, bro. Now, again, to me, there's nothing wrong with somebody having a nice house like this. There's nothing wrong with it. You've achieved some success. You have a beautiful house. You get to live in this ginormous kitchen with marble top. Like, that's great. I'm happy for you that you're succeeding like this. But there's no reason that when you're succeeding like this, that your political viewpoint should then go and attack the most marginalized and the most vulnerable among us. Instead, we should be working together to try to elevate everyone to rise up and be able to live like this. Like, I think all those immigrants should be able to live like this, guys. All of us should. But it's weird how somebody who lives like this wants to punch down on immigrants. This is Biden's economy, by the way. That's Biden's economy, and look at her rug, bro.
My gigantic living room rug fit in this little bag. Let's change up my living room together.
Look at that, guys. Look at this house. Look at that living room. Now, we saw yesterday a woman who is a doctor from South America coming up here, trying to get into the U.S., living with her entire family in one tiny room with 4 bunk beds. A doctor, no less. A medical doctor living in one room with 4 beds with her family, waiting desperately to try and get asylum because she was fleeing a war-torn country. And this woman, who wants to deport all them and prevent that doctor from being an American citizen, is out here showing us how she can just buy a brand new giant living room rug, right? In her huge living room with the massive windows, and she's struggling here in Biden's economy. That's what we're led to believe. That is the woman who's voting to deport everybody, bro. Isn't that wild?
Spend the morning with me as a full-time stay-at-home mom.
She is so privileged. A full-time stay-at-home mom with a brand new Jeep in her nice, lovely garage. But to her, like the full-time stay-at-home mom, she's like got to make sure all those immigrants get out. She's got to make sure those immigrants get out and make sure that those transgender people can't exist. She gets a brand new Jeep. Is that their RV too? Holy shit, it looks like that's an RV in their driveway as well, guys. This woman in Biden's economy got a brand new Jeep Wrangler. They have $100,000 RV in their driveway in this beautiful, crazy house. And this is the woman that's voting for Donald Trump. Like, let's have concentration camps of the immigrants. This woman is not struggling. This woman has no financial struggles. This woman is not suffering in Biden's economy. They are flourishing like beyond many people's wildest dreams. And look at her again with the fancy, French tip, a manicure, gender affirming care. She puts her gender affirming care in front of her brand new Jeep Wrangler, in front of her ginormous RV, in her beautiful brand new house with this beautiful furnishings. And then later she votes to eradicate trans people and to take away women's rights to their uterus and to deport millions of immigrants. And she is saying that the economy made her do it. This shit is wild. Look at her other car. Look at that house. How many cars do they have? Is that a Mustang? These are the people that are fighting to get rid of the immigrants. Welcome to Maga, guys. Bring us your tired, bring us your poor, bring us your hungry, and we will deport them so I can buy another RV. That's what her Christianity is. Bring us your tired, bring us your poor, bring us your hungry so I can put them in concentration camps and deport them so my daughter can have another Mustang and we can have an in-ground pool in the backyard. This is gross, dude. This is Maga, guys. She's like, look at how illustrious my life is and how I have gender-affirming care all day long in my wonderful house, in my beautiful house with my brand new vehicles and my luxurious possessions. And I am just gender-affirming care upon gender-affirming care upon gender-affirming care, filled with gender-affirming care products. And then her political choices are to decimate gender-affirming care for some targeted minority group and to then target a minority group for eradication and elimination from the United States under the idea that it's going to harm her. Bring us your tired, your hungry, and your poor so we can deport them and they can never have a chance at a life like mine. But yeah, just so you know, all right, there you go. Oh shit, bro. Maga. This, though, is the problem. I think Maga are in a cult. I think Maga are brainwashed. I don't want to round up Maga and put them in concentration camps. I don't want to take away their churches. I don't want to take away their ability to fillet Charlie Kirk and Andrew Tate and all the other right-wing content creators. They can OD on that shit and be filled with hate and resentment as much as they want. I don't care if they stay in their mobile homes or their houses and just watch Charlie Kirk and off to Donald Trump for the rest of their lives. I want them to have high wages. I want them to be able to go to college or trade school for free. I want them to have union jobs. I want them to have access to health care. And I want them to be able to own property and lead a comfortable life, to be able to go to fucking Disneyland or to go buy a bunch of Charlie Kirk posters so they can off to them all day long, whatever they want. But what I'm not going to let them do is I'm not going to let them tell gay people that they're demons or tell trans people that they don't exist when they do, and they have. I'm not going to let them run around and say that because they don't want to stand up to capitalism and they don't want to take a stand against Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all these wealthy motherfuckers, that they're instead going to blame a bunch of immigrants who are coming here for a better life. Like, off. If you want to band together and go take Elon's wealth and distribute it, let's do it. Same with Bezos. Those guys are ruining the fucking country. Dude, these billionaires that are sucking all the wealth out of the people that are creating it, which is you and I, the workers. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to have people running around advocating for making people disappear. This whole concept of harming people and then being mad when there's consequences. But again, though, we do need to look at the essential breakdown of this, in that transgender people just want to have access to gender-affirming care. This woman who voted to eradicate trans people via Donald Trump, who has promised to eradicate them, she engages in almost nothing but gender affirming care. She has this beautiful life in the Biden economy with plenty of money, with brand new cars and brand new, used RVs in a lovely house with a marble top kitchen and lovely brand new nails. Her nails change every couple videos. And in fact, though, she is so suffering in this economy that she can only get her nails done every 5th TikTok. It's wild, bro. It's tone deaf.